Closing arguments are set to begin today in the sexual assault trial of 5 former members of Canada's World Junior Hockey team. The defense teams for Michael McLeod, Dylan Dubé, Alex Formenton, Carter Hart and Calford will make their closing arguments first, followed by the Crown. Closing arguments are expected to take several days. All 5 players have pleaded not guilty to sexually assaulting a woman in June of 2018. And CTV's Heather Wright is standing by outside court in London, Ontario for the latest. Good morning, Heather. What can we expect in the courts today?
Well, these closing arguments are set to begin around 10 a.m. as this trial that has lasted roughly 25 days comes to a close. But it is going to take, as you mentioned, Akshay, several days for us to hear from the 5 lawyers representing those 5 former World Junior Hockey players. And then we are going to hear from the Crown attorney as well. And basically what's expected is they are going to summarize their position on this case, some of the facts of this case. And really it's going to boil down to essentially 2 things, the issue of consent and credibility. And so those are those 2 themes that we expect to be woven into the closing arguments from both the defense lawyers and the Crown attorneys as these closing arguments are set to begin later this morning.
Heather, let's also talk about what we have seen in the past few weeks as this case has evolved. We've seen, of course, juries that have been dismissed, some very graphic details and evidence that has been put forward that has come out. Talk to us about the twists and tales so far.
Well, this trial began with essentially a mistrial right out of the gate. And so that almost was an omen for some of those twists and turns that we saw over the course of this trial. Of course, we know that it is being tried by judge alone after a second jury was dismissed a few weeks ago. And as you mentioned, it has been full of graphic testimony, really grueling testimony from some of the witnesses, and a long trial with a lot of graphic details of what played out that night 7 years ago. And so we're going to hear some of that beginning today. And while this is coming to an end with these closing arguments, it might be several weeks until we hear a verdict from this judge. It could take days or weeks as they are going to take these closing arguments, look at the facts of the case and render a verdict, but we don't know when that might come.
CTV's Heather Wright in London, Ontario. Heather, thank you for this update.